Now, outside this providers, is going to have a user ID. Also install the types. So npm install at types. You can just throw new error invalid credentials. All right. And yeah, credentials can be
credential provider. Next on credential provider. Which one adapter?
be undefined. So let's just use the question mark here so we confirm we don't break the app. All right. And now let's go ahead and let's find the user with this email. Because if we are logging in, we need to confirm that this user actually exists. So const user is equal to await prisma.user.find unique. If you are by any chance getting an error when writing prisma.user, as in it cannot find user, that means that you need to run npx db push, because you might have forgotten it, or maybe it did not synchronize. You can also try restarting the project or refreshing your VS Code. All right. And in this find unique, we want to write where email is equal to credentials.email. So we want to use the credential email to find the existing user. All right. And now if the user does not exist, or if the user does not have hashed password, we want to throw new error, again, invalid credentials, because obviously whatever they typed in does not exist in our database and we cannot use that to log in the user. All right. And now let's check if the password is correct. So const is correct password is equal to await decrypt.compare. And we're going to compare the credentials.password with user.hashed password, like this, right? So we're going to compare the hash that we have in our database, and we're going to compare what bcrypt will hash whatever the user passed in the credentials. All right, great. And now, if it isn't the correct password, we're just going to throw a new error, which is again going to say invalid credentials. Great. And in the end, we just want to return the user because everything went okay. Great, great job. All right. Now outside this providers, we want to write debug to be equal to process.environment.node environment identical to development. So we want to turn on the debug if we are in development. This will help you a lot because you will see a bunch of information in your terminal and it's going to help you debug stuff. For the session object, you want to choose a strategy, which is a type of JWT. And for JWT, you want to open and write secret, and you're just going to write process.environment.next_out_JWT_secret. We do not have this yet. We're just going to create it in a moment. And the last field here is secret, which is process.environment.nextOut_secret. All right. Now let's go ahead and let's create this next out JWT secret and next out secret. So go next out_secret. All right.
Debug session strategy JWT.
Now let's go ahead and let's create this next out JWT secret and next out secret. So go into your .environment file right here and just add the next out JWT secret and just add the next out underscore secret here. For me, this is just going to be next underscore out underscore JWT underscore secret. And this is going to be next underscore out underscore secret. All right. Great, we have our next out completely set up. Great job. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna create our register endpoint. So let's close everything up and let's go into pages and into API folder right here. So make sure you do not create it inside out. Make sure you are creating it in API, create a new file called register.ts like this. So the out should not have this register. The out is reserved for next out. Great. And in this register, we're going to export default asynchronous function called handler, which has a request, which is type of next API request, and the response, which is a type of next API response. All right. And you can just open the function.
Xbox default a scene.
And first thing we want to do is we want to limit this method to post only. So if request.method is not equal to post, you just want to return response status 405 and end the call. Great. And now we can open our try and catch block, and let's handle the error first. So we want to log the error. I forgot to write the return function. So if you want to write it now, that's fine, but I will also come back and write it later.
If request method is post,
And on catch, we want to extract our values, and the values we're going to receive are the following. So const email, username, name, and password from request.body, because that's what we are going to send, if you remember, in our create an account model right here. Great. All right. And now let's hash our password. So const hashed password is going to be equal to await bcrypt, which of course we have to import. So import bcrypt from bcrypt is going to be equal to await bcrypt dot hash password 12. Make sure you don't misspell password. All right. Now that we have our hash password, let's create the user. So const user is going to be equal to await prisma dot user dot create. And don't forget to import prisma. So import prisma from @/libs/prisma. Sorry, /prisma db. All right, so it's this file we created right here. Make sure you don't misspell it. And you can always check with command or control.
comments. So now from request bodies. Okay. And then we will take the user await prisma user create really why this the root error. This one. How can I create? Let's see. Oh, okay.
Hold your control key and press right here so you can see it loads the actual file. All right, and now you can use this prisma.user.create, open an object, and let's write some data. So the data we're going to pass is going to be email, username, name, and hashed password. Great. And now it's going to return response status to 100.json user. Perfect. All right.
Email username.
And now what I want to do is I want to create another library called server out. So go ahead into your libs right here and create a new file called serverout.ts. Great. So go ahead and write const server out is an asynchronous function which only accepts a request, which is a type of next API request. And in here, we're gonna get our session using next out. So const session is equal to await get session. I'll make sure you write the arrow function right here. So asynchronous, open parameters, and write an arrow function, get session, and in here you're just gonna pass an object which accepts a request. And we're going to import get session from next out. So import get session from next-out/react, like that. All right. Now we're gonna check if we have a logged in user. So if we don't have session question.user question.email, we're gonna throw new error, not signed in. Otherwise, if we are signed in, let's find our current user using the email. So const current user is equal to await prisma.user. And of course, let's not forget to import Prisma. So import Prisma from @/lib/prisma db. So prisma.user.find unique, where email is equal to session.user.email, like this. Great. If we don't have the current user, so if we have not found anything with this email, we want to throw a new error again and just write not signed in. Great. And just
Current user Prisma user file unique where it is a Prisma syntax.
Return an object current user like this. And don't forget to export default server out. All right. And before we move into our UI, I just want to create another API route called current, which we're going to use to create a current user. To fetch our currently logged in user. So go into your API folder and create a new file called current.ts. And in here, it's going to be pretty similar to register. So export default asynchronous function handler, which accepts.
Okay, for register, try a handler function. Handler function receive request and respond in parameters. If it is post method, not post method, yes, return 405. And then if it is post, we're gonna get the information in the body, including email, username, name, password, hash the password, and then create a user. Okay, how about current? I think I can copy this here.
A request, which is next API request, and the response, which is next API response. All right. And first, let's limit this to get only. So if request.method is not equal to get, return response status 405 and end the call. And now you can open your try and catch block. And let's handle the error first. So for development, we're just going to log the error like this and return response status 400 end. Great. And in our try block, all we're going to do is we're going to extract the current user from the library which we just created right here. All right, so go ahead and write const current user is equal to await server out. And remember, we have to pass the request, not in curly brackets. We just have to pass it like this. Perfect. And what we're going to do now is return response status 200.json print user. Great. So what this route is going to do is basically it's going to use this server out to get the current session from the request which we are getting. It's going to check if we are logged in, and then it's going to find the user by email. So what this route is going to do is basically it's going to use this server out to get the current session from the request which we are getting. It's going to check if we are logged in, and then it's going to find the user by email, and it's going to return our user so we can use it in whatever way we want. All right. Right. And now I want you to go back into API register right here. And we forgot to return something if there is an error. So after this console log, just make sure you return response status 400 and end the call. Perfect. All right, we are almost ready to create some authentication on the front end. So what I want you to do now is I want you to go into hooks and create a new file called usecurrentuser.ts. And I want you to go into the terminal and let's install another package, npm install svr. And remember to run the project again. All right, and now import use svr from svr like this. And we also have to create another library called fetcher. So go again into your libs right here and create a file called fetcher.ts. It's going to be very simple. We do need another library here. So npm install Axios. Run the project again. And import Axios from Axios. And we're going to define our fetcher as the following. Const fetcher is equal to a URL, which is a type of string, And all it's going to do is axios.get the URL, and then it's going to use the response and extract response.data like this and export to default fetcher. Perfect. And now go back into your hook. And export to default fetcher. Perfect. And now go back into your hooks, use current user, and you can import fetcher from add/libs/fetcher like this. Great. And now write const use current user, which is just going to return the SVR. So const data error is loading, mutate is equal use SVR, and it's going to point to /API/current. Why there? Because that is what we just created in this pages API current right here. All right. And we also have to pass in the fetcher like this. Perfect. And all we want to do is return all of these fields which have been extracted from the SVR library. So return data error is loading and mutate. And don't remember to export default use current user. All right. So what SVR is going to do is SVR is going to fetch this slash API/current using the Axios fetcher, which we created right here, and it's going to store it in its global store. So we're going to be able to reuse this use current user hook, and it's not going to refetch it every time we use it. It's actually going to take a look and see if data already exists, and it's also going to decide whether data maybe needs to be re-invalidated and fetched again. So basically, this is going to replace our global state like Redux. So this is a hook, and it's not going to current using the Axios fetcher, which we created right here, and it's going to store it in its global store. So we're going to be able to reuse this use current user hook, and it's not going to refetch it every time we use it. It's actually going to take a look and see if data already exists, and it's also going to decide whether data maybe needs to be re-invalidated and fetched again. So basically, this is going to replace our global state like Redux. So this is an amazing library which you can use for fetching. And a state like Redux. So this is an amazing library which you can use for fetching. And we are also provided with stuff like data, error, is loading, and mutate if we purposely want to fetch it again. Great. All right, so now we can go back into our models. So let's close everything up and let's go with the components, models, register model right here. And here we have a comment to do add register and login. So let's go ahead and do that. Right, await Axios, which you can import from Axios at the top right here. And we're gonna call our register route. So axios.post/API/register. Why does this route exist? Best because we created it in Pages API register right here. That's why I told you to not put it in the auth folder, because otherwise it's going to be API/auth/register. And you want to keep the auth folder clean because this is reserved for next auth. So if you actually put any route here, you might actually break the authentication. All right. And remember, the body which we're going to pass is going to be email, password, username, name. And we need to add all of this to our dependency array so they are up to date. So email, password, username, and name. How do we know that these are the fields we want? Well, again, because we defined that in the register controller right here. From request.body, we're going to extract email, username, name, and password, and we're going to store that in our user right here. Great. And one thing I want to add is I want to add a cool little toast notification when we succeed or when we fail. So once again, open your terminal and write npm install react-hot-toast. Great. And remember to run the project again. And now what I want you to do is I want you to go into your pages_app file again. And here we're going to add the provider for our React Hot Toast, which we just installed. And we're also going to wrap the entire thing in a session provider so we can properly do authentication on the front end. So go ahead and import the following packages. So import toaster from react-hot-toast. And import session provider from next-out/react like this. And you're going to wrap the whole thing in session provider like this. Make sure you end the fragment as well. And you're going to pass the session prop from page props.session like this. Great. And just above register model, you're also going to add the toaster. Just like that. Perfect. And now we can go back into our register model, which is in components models register model right here. And what we're going to write now is the following. So after this await call has been successful, we want to write toast.success account created like this. Now we have to import toast. So go back to the top and just import toast from react-hot-toast. All right, perfect. And we also want to handle the error. So if we have an error, we want to do toast.error, something went wrong. Great. And after we register, we also want to log in immediately. So import another field right here, sign in from next-out/react right here. And after we successfully toast the success, we just want to init the sign in. Sign in, we're going to use credentials, and we're going to pass the email password. Great. And that should be it. You can actually try, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna expand this a little bit so I can open my network tab on the side and see if we successfully create or if we get an error. So go ahead and click tweet, select create an account, and let's create our first account. So I'm gonna write my email, I'm gonna write my name, code with Antonio, my username, which is gonna be code with Antonio, lowercase, and my password 123321. And let's click register. Perfect. As you can see, we got a toast notification that account has been created, and we also got perfect. As you can see, code with Antonio, lowercase, and my password 123321. And let's click register.
So when you click on submit all that register user says allowing to pass here. It's hard. So here transmit. sound is not really like you said, what? Hmm. Something went wrong. Let's be check. So here I write it down a little bit. It is really low here. As the spot. As the spot here. I do. What is the UI gonna do? Answer post. development. Why? There's the icon here. Oh my god.
Alright, in this part of the tutorial, we're going to install and set up Prisma, we're going to write our models, and finally, we're going to connect our authentication to the app. So, let's head into our terminal, and let's run npm install -D Prisma. After it's been installed, you can go ahead and run the command line interface npx prisma init. Great. Now you should see a couple of new files, so let's go ahead and let's take a look. First of all, you should have the new Prisma folder with schema.prisma right here. And you should also have the environment folder, which has the database URL pre-filled. We're not going to use this. This is just for the template which we initialized. All right. First things first, we have to change the provider to MongoDB, just like that. And if you're not seeing this syntax, like blue text and basically, if it looks plain to you, what you need to do is you need to go into your extensions and make sure you have the Prisma extension installed, right? So adds syntax highlighting and formatting and a bunch of other stuff which is useful. Great. So make sure you have the Prisma extension. All right. So what we have to do now is we have to get our database URL, which we are going to fill right here. And for that, let's go into MongoDB Atlas and let's create our database. So I'm just going to sign in because I